It's an awful feeling to see someone you care about go through terrible things. I was Misty Edwards' sound tech for her sets during my last 3 years at IHOP-KC before I left in April 2018. We would meet in the briefing room 30 minutes beforehand and had so many meaningful conversations. Alongside that, for a year and a half, we were on the same worship team in the evenings until I got so sick with Lyme disease I had to quit. She was happily not leading a team. She was just singing and loved that. I continued doing sound for her on the weekend until I moved away. Misty I grew to love, and she held a very special place in my heart. At one point, we were dreaming up doing a children's book together. She would write it, and I would illustrate it. She was empathetic, compassionate, kind, hilarious, humble, safe, creative, inspiring, and a very real human being. We had conversations about relationships and personality types. We are both Enneagram 4s. She would say she was eternally single and express insecurities. As a pretty wounded guy myself, I understood my version of that. She never wanted the mega Misty star thing and hated it. She loved people but didn't like managing them, letting them down, or being in leadership. Leadership was slavery, she said. She deeply believed in therapy, regularly went, encouraged me to go, and thought that everyone should be in it. My artwork was moody, dark, and emotional, so it never fit the cheesy Christian aesthetic, and I was criticized at times for it. But she loved my artwork, so we'd talk about creative processes and inspiration. She's a brilliant writer, storyteller, and poet. I was getting sicker and sicker with Lyme disease, and she'd share her story about having cancer. I had to quit my job and my evening worship team. When I was struggling with life, illness, and finances, she paid me from her own pocket. I got to know her some, not as well as others, but enough to know she has a golden soul. I didn't know 19-year-old Misty. I got to know 37-year-old Misty, the one who had aged, matured, and changed and grown tired like we all do. I got to know a real human version of her, not the fabricated spectacle idea that so many perceive, speculate, and perpetuate rumors about. During my 10 years at IHOP-KC, I struggled a lot with living up to the culture pressure of being a, quote, godly man, unquote. That expectation was smacked onto me by the environment and leaders, and it was absurd. There was this bizarre standard of impossible holiness to never live up to, but everyone expected me to possess it. I was just a guy with a good heart, wrestling with identity, life, obscure sorrows, and my own abusive psycho father, and how that rippled in ways I didn't want. I wasn't set up to succeed as a holy man. IHOP-KC wouldn't allow me to be human and impacted. This ate me alive. I wasn't allowed to be my whole self. Misty, the real person I got to know, was not an exaggerated, out of touch, delusional spiritual charismatic. She was a gracious realist and took the pressure off to edit out humanity. So, yeah, this news story is the one that got me. 2 years of blackmail by Kevin Prosh in a coercive relationship, which IHOP-KC knew about, but did nothing. This makes me so sad.